Over here, for those that had me last semester, it's the same assignment as we did before, where we make a simple animation. It doesn't have to be symmetric. It doesn't have to be as simple as this one. It could be way more complicated because you know more, but pretty much you're making pictures move. And what I want to walk you through is this example code. We're still using processing, so those that have Java before with Mr. Simon, it's like that. But the difference here is that it's the Python flavor. So I'm going to pull up the example code on Trinket and walk through line by line on what's going on. First thing is that we'll have to use this library processing, and it's the Python flavor. So this is how we add a library into Python at the very top. From processing, import star. The star stands for all the different functions that the processing library has. Here we attempt some global declaration of variables, and Python has a little difference on global variables. We'll get to that soon. You have, just as before, setup and draw functions. Notice the different syntax. Instead of using function setup and function draw, it uses def, and it has a colon at the end, some things to pay attention to. And then down here, we set up our canvas. We don't use create canvas. Instead, we use size, and this is just as you expected, 300 width and 300 as your height. We scroll down. Here's a funny thing. Because Python, and we'll get into why Python works this way, its variables aren't global by default like it is on JavaScript. So that's why we have to use this global keyword. When the draw functions run, and let's say before we didn't have these global keywords there, it would show this and then it'd say, you're trying to reference X before using it, and it'll give you an error and won't compile. Add in these global keywords here into your draw function right before you use it, and that tells Python to look up here in lines 2 and 3 to make sure that you've actually declared it and you're using them now. Okay, the global keyword. Background, stroke, fill, that's all familiar as before. There's no semicolon. And then here's the part that makes it move. You have a change, which you'll have in your shape pattern assignment, and then you have an if statement where you update it. Also different syntax, the colon. Line 30, this is where it's important, because if you didn't have line 30 here, the run, then when you click on the play button, you won't see anything as it is on my screen. So you click back to your code. Make sure at the very end, after you're done with your setup and your draw function, that you put in run and in parentheses. And that tells specifically Trinket that I should have to run my draw function. And then you should see a circle moving on the left-hand side, going up, and resetting going down. Those are the fundamental things that are different as you set up the processing environment for Trinket.io. Questions from the floor? Nope. Then everyone should be able to start tweaking and drawing different shapes, and there will be more lectures tomorrow. That's all. This is your official